Hello everyone, just a quick one. Welcome to System Hoppers. My name is Mark, and this is the planning episode for our first episode of British Conclave Wrestling in our game of the Worldwide Wrestling role-playing game. This is going to get a little meta, so I'll try and explain it as best I can. Essentially, a single version of the televised show that we'll be playing through on the main episodes of the podcast consists of several matches and segments that myself and my friend Steve will be planning and organising. In these plans, we need to work out what order the segments will run, who they're going to involve, and most importantly, who will win any matches that take place. The purpose of this little bonus episode is to just give a little bit of insight into what those initial plans are at the start of each episode of the show. We're planning to do 2 episodes of British Conclave Wrestling and then a big pay-per-view finale, which should equate to about 5 or 6 episodes of the podcast, so there'll be 3 of these little planning segments released throughout our playthrough. If you want any information on the game itself, please check out the rules explanation in the first episode. The only thing that's important to know, though, is that whatever's planned in these segments is not written in stone. Players can change, modify, or even completely adapt the card in current and even future episode by dice rolls and abilities and role-playing. Maybe they cut a promo and demand that their later match be a different type. Maybe they fail at breaking the company rules and their next match now has to be an embarrassing loss as a punishment. Or maybe they're a heroic babyface who catches their opponent cheating mid-match and now booking the cheater to lose and themselves to win. These are just some of the amendments that can happen throughout play, and myself and Steve have to adapt the booking on the fly as these come up and get resolved. We've also decided to write and book the show in secret so that the other players only briefly know what matches they're in, and not who the booked winner of any given match is. Only the person who's booked to win can try and hit their finisher the normal way. If you aren't booked as the winner, you'll need to find some way to change the booking, or use the break kayfabe move to go for the win instead, which on a success can shoot you up in popularity, but on a failure can cause a lot of problems for your character. Of course, some of you might not be interested in hearing the planning of the show itself, and might just want to react to things as they happen, or could consider hearing the plans a bit of a spoiler. So this segment is just an optional listen if you want to just quickly hear how myself and Steve will predict things might play out. And spoilers, but our predictions rarely play out exactly as we think they will. Just a quick refresher on characters before we start. I'm playing Titanic Terry, the babyface veteran. Steve is playing Wally the Weasel, the heel manager. Tom is playing Overtime Oliver Timely, the babyface call-up. And Vicky is playing the Diva of Doom, Enigma, the heel Anointed. We also have a small pool of non-playable wrestlers that we wrote to put players up against, but chaos quickly descends. By the pay-per-view, we fully expect things to go off the rails. So without any further delay, I will hand off to past Mark and past Steve to see what kind of show they're planning, and then you can hear the actual show to hear just how things play out and how most of the things we predict probably just don't happen. Enjoy! I think, as a rule of thumb, we should probably have one match. Each player should be in a match, and each player should have like a segment outside of the match.
Match 1 is you and Colossal Keith versus like the tag champs.
Yeah.
I think it works if you lose the match and then he turns on you immediately after that. So if we do match 1 as tag title match.
Is it better if we start as champions?
Oh, and you lose the belts.
And we lose the belts, because then that starts a feud originally.
Yeah.
Technically, rules as written, you shouldn't start as a champion, but I think this makes sense.
I think it's more interesting that way. We can fuck the rules.
It also gives us a chance as well, mechanically, just to show basically how the matches work for Vicky and Tom.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and win the match, and if we're playing against, you can play the wrestlers. You can play Wrecking Ball and Crane.
Should we have Painface versus like Hadouken or something somewhere on the card? Because that gives me something to do.
Do you want, after the first match, do you want a promo to introduce that you're now managing Painface?
We could do that in interview 1, and then match 3 can be Painface versus Hadouken.
Yeah, because the other thing we could do, I was thinking if we do that then, we could have, because the other thing is the players could interrupt, we could have someone run in.
Yeah.
As in, you could have, while you're hyping up someone, we could have someone be like, no.
Painface versus Hadouken.
We can put Hadouken in, but again, we can add that if someone feels like they're not in the scene, they can...
Yeah, they can just step in. If we do... Who was heel and who was face from Vicky and Tom? Tom was face, wasn't he?
Yeah.
If we go... Or do we put them on opposite sides of a match to main event?
Tom's gimmick is he levels up when he gets a main event, so maybe we shouldn't put him immediately in one.
Okay, so Tom needs to go match 2 then.
Yeah.
Should we have him versus like him versus like Mr. International John Punchman
Yeah.
for a non-title match.
Yeah.
So it's Timely versus. I just want a way to introduce as many fucking people as we can.
Yeah. We've also got something for Vicky to do, just in there, because otherwise she's right at the end.
I'm thinking she opens in a promo.
Yeah, as long as she knows has an idea of what she wants to do, or
If we have her cut a promo and we immediately have it interrupted by like a wrestler to set up the main event.
yes, I like that.
Like we give her. So if we go.
I think mechanically, in terms of like player versus player, if we set up a lot of non-playable wrestlers for us all,
Yeah.
it then sets up that if players want to start those feuds, they can. But keep in mind, you'll lose a heat for everyone you don't interact with.
It gives. If we set it up like this, and then people can. Do you want the last interview slot that I've put down? So you can talk about how he turned on you.
That gives me something to do.
Yeah. Terry talks. There we go. And then the main events can be.
It can be his talk show segment from live from the medical wing.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, we can plot this match and then people can fuck around. Like we're gonna have.
Yeah, it can get fucked about with a lot.
Terry talks.
Terry talk. Yeah, I'm gonna put that as an actual name of a show. Terry talks. Terry talks live from the medical room.
Oh, this is so sad.
We're off to a fucking flying star here.
Are we happy with that? Do you think?
I think that's a good setup to start with. Should we?
Bring everyone back. Yeah.
I could just.
Do we want to tell the players what's on the card, or do we want to?
Yeah, we'll let them know when they're on the show.
We need to book who wins.
Oh shit! Do you want me to just quickly put a W by each person?
Yeah. So I just realised.
Let's do it that way.
You summoned us.
You have been summoned.
Me and Steve booked the show in record time.
He'd booked this show. It was phenomenal. We'll just tell you where you are on the card so you can at least be mentally prepared for where you need to be. So we're going to open with an Enigma promo. Then we've got Titanic Terry and his protege Colossal Keith in a tag match. We then have Oliver Timely versus Mr. International. Then we have Painface versus Hadouken. Then we have a interview segment with Terry, and the main eventing is Enigma.
So, you happy with that?
Yes. I don't know what half of that means, but yes.
Me and Steve have written a card to try and like a lot of this first episode for us is us just seeing where stuff lands.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big pay-per-view in 2 episodes' time, and we're just going to kind of, hopefully everything will pop off then, but we're just going to kind of, we've thrown a lot at the wall, and we're just going to see what sticks, and then if we, in the next recording, we'll kind of, there'll be a bit more.